So in today's video, we are going to discuss through Amazon FBA how we price products for sale on Amazon. Now, this is my personal experience. I've been selling on Amazon for about 4 months now. It's nothing like other people have been selling for years, and I appreciate I could be wrong about certain things, but I'm just going to go through as a relatively new seller how I do things. So your comments and your personal experiences would also be greatly appreciated, but I'm hoping to educate a few people on this video. So what we have here is Seller Amp. This is vital to selling on Amazon. I think there's one called BuyBot Pro, which basically does the same type of thing. And what it does is it allows you to put the product in, which is Packer Rabanne 1 million, and you can see the product here. And you have different statistics, graphs, figures, and it can all look very daunting, but once you get the hang of it, it's a bit like looking at your dashboard in a car. You don't need to know what it all means, really, and you get an idea. So we have the product here. First thing we look at is, are you eligible to sell it? In this case, it's no, green for good, red for bad, and you can change the parameters so they turn green and red depending on what you set them as. So are you eligible to sell the product? If you're not eligible to sell it, it's pointless buying it because you can't sell it on Amazon. Now, usually you'll be eligible if you buy 10 or more of a product and you have the invoices to prove it. You send those invoices to Amazon and Amazon say, yes, you can sell it. As I make this video right now, you can see my selling application, Packer Rabanne, is under review. Now, they do all get approved. The annoying thing is I thought I'd already been approved in Packer Rabanne, as you can see here, Packer branded, approved. So I bought this product, went to try and sell it, and then it turns around and says you can't sell it. So I'm not entirely sure, so I've got to do it again. But it will get approved, and when it does get approved, then this eligible will change to yes, and now you can sell it. So that's that box. The alerts, dangerous goods. It's perfume, so it's classified as dangerous goods. Now, what this means is, one, you have to be eligible to sell dangerous goods. Again, the same type of thing. You qualify for it, and you can ask to be accepted into the dangerous goods program. Once you are, you can then sell these products. It is based on reviews, algorithms, these types of things, but I was allowed to sell in dangerous goods within the first few weeks of being an Amazon seller. So that's not something to worry about. V is variations, meaning there are 3 variations. You've got to make sure you get the variations right. That's what you have these codes for. So that's the top 2 boxes. Then we have BSR, which is basic sale rate. And it's in the top 1% of sales on Amazon, meaning it's a very good product to buy. Packer Rabanne 1 million is obviously very well known. So top 1% in Amazon, good thing to sell. As you can see here, estimated sales, 115 of these sell every single month. Now I have 12 of them. Had to buy, you can only buy a maximum 3, but I bought 4 lots of 3 so I could get the 10 needed to be eligible to sell. So those, if it sells 115 a month, 12 should technically sell in a few days. But you have to be aware, obviously, of who else has stock, who else is selling them, who else has got the buy box, who is FBM, who's FBA. Now we'll go through FBA and FBM shortly as to what they are. In fact, we will do that now. So FBM is fulfilled by merchant, meaning that what you do is you buy the product, you go to sell it on Amazon, and you say that you will provide postage to the customer. So you buy the physical product, you advertise it on Amazon. When people click buy now, they don't really know where it's coming from, an FBM seller or an FBA seller. And then it's on you to send it to the customer. FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, is exactly what it says. You buy the product, you send it to Amazon, and then when people click buy now from Amazon, the product comes directly from Amazon's warehouse because you've sent it into them. Does that make sense? That's the difference between FBM and FBA. And there are different prices. FBM can be higher or more expensive than FBA, and it can be lower. Usually you think it will be higher purely because their postage costs are going to be higher because they don't get to use the discounted rates of UPS, which is Amazon's partner carrier. But anyway, so that's what FBM and FBA are. If you want to be an FBA seller, you buy the product, you send it into Amazon. When people click buy now through Amazon, it comes from Amazon's warehouse because you've sent it into them. If it's FBM, you get a notification saying someone's buy it. You've now got to go take it to the post office or whatever you do with it and post it to the customer. So that's the difference between FBA and FBM. My phone's going off. So that covers eligible, alerts, BSR, sales rate. Max cost is basically a calculation between if you wanted to sell it at that price, what's the maximum cost you could sell it at in order to get your return on investment. And you can change these parameters within the settings. Cost price is what you pay for it. I did pay £35 each for these. So there are 12 of them. So that is £400 worth of pack of Rabanne, 1 million there. And with all the fees that the seller amp actually works out, I should make, from what I've put in, if a sale price is 60, a profit of £10 and a 30% ROI or return on investment. If we move down here as well, again, it's estimated sales, 115 a month. And you can see that mirrors up there. Estimated time to sell, 1 day. It's not surprising considering the amount of stock they have, which isn't a huge amount, although this person has 351 of them in stock. That must be a big seller. Yeah. And it takes 1 day to sell them. Very, very good product to have. So let's now move over to these graphs. This is the Keeper graph, and you can go on to what it says here. You click this and it opens the chart on Keeper, and you can see it's in bigger format, and you can look at it in more detail if you want to. I tend not to because what I can see here is usually all right. So at the moment you can see October 2022, November 2022, December 2022, and you can go back weeks, date, months, etc. because it might be seasonal, and it's just good to do your due diligence and work it. So let's have a look. Let's stop it here. So the FBA sellers were selling them at $69.99. The FBM was selling them at $63.99. And the buy box, which is the price where customers go on Amazon and click buy now, they were buying them at £64. As we move us along, we can see the prices change. They go up, they go down. And then you have to kind of work out a good price to sell the product at based on what it has been selling at historically, whether Amazon are on the listing, meaning that Amazon is selling the products because they tend to be cheaper and are more likely not to let you sell your product if they've got product to sell, which makes sense because they're Amazon. So if we look at all these, we can get an idea of what people are selling them at. And more than that, we can move over to here and it will tell you. So the current FBA sellers are selling them at £75. FBM sellers £67. And then we can look at the last 30 days. If we look at the lowest FBA sellers and the lowest FBM, watch how these figures change. The last 3 days, 30 days, average £70. I'm looking at this figure here. Last 90 days, £69. Last 180 days, £70. And all time, £67. So you get an idea there. The cost of living's gone up, etc. You're probably right to be selling them around about £70, £75, I reckon. That's what I reckon just by looking at that. So if we put £75 in there, you can see making £22 profit on each one of these. If you bought 12 of them, that's 250 quid in profit. And it should take 1 day to sell one of them. So 250 quid in a week, hopefully. 65% return on investment is huge. Then we go over to the figures where it shows people what stock people have in and what prices they're selling them at. The FBM sellers, usually you can ignore, but it's always good to take it into account because you don't want a listing where it's completely flooded with people selling. Like if there's hundreds and hundreds of people selling, hundreds and hundreds of stock, are you really going to get in there and be able to sell yours? Maybe, maybe not. And it tells you there's 9 nine companies selling. So that's good to get in there. 3 FBA sellers, 6 FBM sellers. Now, the good thing about FBA sellers is they're eligible for next day prime delivery. And you will usually get more than market share to sell your product if you are FBA seller. So you can change this to prime only. And now we've only got 3 sellers with cumulative stock of 13 in stock. I personally have 12. They sell 115 a month and there's only 13 in stock. So yeah, a brilliant product to get in there. Now we look at the prices they're selling them for. £75, £75, £79.95. Now what I tend to do is go in the middle. Now you can use repricers. I personally use Be Cool for repricing. What it does is you're allowed to put in your cost, your minimum price you want to sell it, your maximum price you want to sell it, and whether you want the bot, because the bot basically changes the price in which you sell things throughout the day, every few hours, whether you want it to be a profit booster, profit maximizer, sales booster, sales maximizer. You can look through Be Cool and see what that's about. So in this instance, if we go back, where were we? If we go back, while we have to choose a price. So for this one, let's go 77.77. That's smack bang in the middle of that basically. And that's kind of where you want to be. Not too high, not too low. And also you could use a repricer to change that for you. So this isn't the same product, but you could have a minimum price of say 65, maximum price of 80, and let the repricer through the robot work out a decent price. And it does genuinely work. But when you sell on Amazon, they do ask you for a price. Now, if you don't manually change the price or you don't use a repricer, that will be the price it sticks at. So for this one, I am going to go for £77.77, which gives me £25 profit each. That is massive for a 1% item that takes 1 day. Why has it changed to 12 days? Not sure why that's just changed. Okay, fair enough. It takes 12 days. Okay, but it's still a good product. So that's how I price. You can look at the charts. If we look at this, £77, what's it been? £69.99. Look at the top one here, FBA. £69.99, 74, 68, 72, 69, 54. It did drop a bit there. 74, 75, 66. And then we look at all-time Amazon, £67. Price has gone up and stuff recently, so 77 is not far wrong, and it's in line with what other people are selling. You don't want to undercut everyone and think, oh, if I undercut them by a penny or a pound, then I'm more likely to get the sale. That's not the way it works. Amazon has algorithms that we as sellers are not aware of, and it takes in a multitude of different factors. How many ratings you have, how many reviews you have, how many returns you have, how many sales you have. It does take price into account, but ultimately it uses an algorithm that we are not aware of as sellers. So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and go, look, let's sell them for £75, let's sell it for £74.99. Because then what might happen is someone else might manually undercut you. The repricers might undercut you as well. And then before you know, you're boom, down, 70 quid, 60 quid, 50 quid, and then you're selling for 55 quid and you're only making £6 profit. And if the margins are even tighter than that, you could be making a loss. It's something you need to be aware of. Let's put that back. 77. I'm not sure where they've disappeared to. What's happened here? Not sure. Let's refresh the page. Stuff's just disappearing. There we go. Oh, we've got another seller's just popped up. That wasn't there a minute ago, was there? 60 quid. There you go. Exactly what I'm talking about. Undercutters. Like, there's absolutely no reason for that. 75, 79, and he's gone 60. There's no reason for that. There is no reason for that whatsoever. All you're doing is one, eating at your profit margin, because 60 quid, that's not where we're selling at, is it? All-time sales of this has been 67 quid lowest, and you're coming in at 60. That's a poor move. What that will cause then other people to do is maybe to panic and lower their prices, the reprices to lower your prices. That's a very poor thing to do there. And for someone with a lot of knowledge, I don't know why they've done that, but I'm not going to judge them for that. Anyway, if we look back at everyone selling, that's actually the lowest price completely. We've got FBM 62, 67, 68, 74, 75, 75. This one's £94 they're selling them at, and they've got 350 of them in stock. They know what they're doing. They've got rating of 2,000. They know what they're doing. They must sell, they wouldn't do it. So this is a 15-minute video so far of explaining the products that you have, how to use the keeper graph, if you're eligible to sell it. Also tells you the dimensions of it, the weight of it, so you can work out how many are going to fit in a box, how heavy the box is, how big the box is, and get that posted off. You can actually go to Amazon itself, and you can see right now, if someone's click on Amazon, look, boom, 60 quid. That person has now just gone straight in, and someone can buy that at 60 quid, but there's only one left in stock. Then what it would do is naturally then shift to other sellers, and you can already see them in other sellers. They got other sellers, 62, 64, 68, and you could, if you wanted to, this is what most people do. They come onto Amazon and go, oh, I like that, happy days, add to basket or buy now. They don't realize that they can choose other sellers if they want, but they usually are more expensive, but some are cheaper. So I, as a business, am not stupid enough to sell it at 60 quid. Where is that? Come on. Because that's foolish as a business. Yeah, you're still going to make £10 profit per unit. Why wouldn't you do that? But you've got to remember, Amazon do lose items. Amazon do damage items. Customers do send back items. Items don't actually sell. Prices fluctuate. Like, that's what all these graphs are for. All these graphs, all these statistics helps you analyze it and work out the best price to sell things. Let's come back to 1 day now. 114 a month now. See, always constantly changing. But that is foolish. Yeah, you're going to make £10 on it, but when everybody else is selling up here, when the graphs and all the data dictate that no one is at, like, 60 quid's never happened. 64, 63, 69, 70, 78, 69. It's never happened. So there's no need to do that. You think, oh, I want to shift my stock quicker, but it's not about shifting your stock quicker. It's about selling a product for a right price based on all variables to make a decent running business. So I'm not sure why they've done that, but that's their choice. But once that goes, it's then back to 75, 75. So yeah, originally 60, you're going to make £10 profit, 30% ROI. And that is really, 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 really good. And even if everyone else was at £60, I'd probably still jump on the listing. But if everybody else is £75, why wouldn't you jump in there in the middle of them as well? You've got to remember, these people are trying to make money just like you're trying to make money. Don't try and stab each other in the back. Don't try and undercut each other, because that's what ends up being a race to the bottom. And people actually have to end up selling stock at a loss because of people like this. There's absolutely no need for it. Not when the graphs of historical data show no one sells at 60 quid, never has sold at 60 quid. And at all time, it just hasn't. Lowest has been 67 quid. What was that one?